Hey, what's up, my friends? Kyle Regal here, and wanted to share today with you the story of Crohn's disease and how I have overcome that, cured that, healed that in myself. I was diagnosed in 2008, and this story is really for Tyler Tolman. Commented on Facebook and was like, hey dude, share your story if you're willing, for, you know, to inspire people. So that's really what this is. If you have Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, IBS, Crohn's, any of those digestive disorders, autoimmune disorders, this is for you. Watch this. I hope that you can find some value in this and understand that I think it's truly 100% possible to heal yourself. So in my story, there are basically 3 pillars that I have found that I consider to determine and affect your overall health of happiness, well-being, and just whatever. And through my experience with Crohn's when I was diagnosed in 2008, I have done nothing but increase my health, increase my strength, increase. It was a blessing. Every part of it was great because I've only become healthier, I've only become stronger because of that. So these 3 pillars I want to talk to you about are your physical, your mental, and your nutritional pillars. Okay, so if you can imagine, you know, anyways, 3 pillars holding up a roof, if you will. Each one of those pillars holds a certain amount, about a third of the weight, if you will. So when certain parts of those pillars begin to weaken, and the biggest one for all of us is nutrition, because our nutrition, the food that we're able to, you know, it's not that we're easily able to get, that's promoted to us on a very large scale here in the US, is all junk. It's processed, it's a bunch of just shit, it's just crap. And you know, even our vegetables that we get, like, you get just organic as much as you can. So the story for me begins like this. I feel that the diagnosis, that Crohn's for me started when I was about 8 years old. And the reason why I think it started when I was about 8 years old is because I would always have dinner with my parents, you know, and mom basically would make all my food for me, etc., etc. Well, one day I didn't want to eat with them, and she's like, fine, go ahead, here's the cereal cupboard, here's the refrigerator, here's peanut butter and jelly, make your own damn food, is basically what she said. At 8 years old, I'm like, sweet, this is perfect, I can eat whatever I want when I want. And then when I would go shopping with her, it was just get whatever you want. And all I wanted was cereal. I basically, a gigantic part of my nutrition, of my diet, all from 8 years old till about 19 years old, was cereal. And processed sugar cereal, and I would eat Honey Nut Cheerios, and I would put tons of extra honey on it. I would eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and I would eat Frosty Flakes, and what are the rice ones? The rice cereal, the puffed up rice things, and I'd put sugar on that. So basically I took what was already an extremely highly processed food, added a ridiculous amount of sugar to it on top of that, and that's what I ate a ton of. I went through a box of cereal per day, and I'm not talking like your little mini box, like your big ass box of cereal every single day. And that's what I ate. You know, we had protein, you know, I'd steak and a lot of chicken and, you know, good protein, but it was still processed at that time. Lots of milk, tons of milk. And I just recently learned today, actually, that in 1994, milk manufacturers started to add a synthetic protein to their milk that has also been linked to many allergic reactions in food. So lo and behold, like, I was eating all of this crap, and I was active, and it's really active, and I was overweight, yes, but I wasn't obese. I feel very fortunate now that I was never diabetic because of that. So I had all this nutritional stress. Okay, back to the 3 pillars. I had all this nutritional stress from about 8 years old till about 20 years old. And then I was starting to go on my own and starting to deal with money, and I screwed money up, right? Like many of us do at some point in our lives. And I became found myself in a financially stressful situation from about 21 till, really, I didn't pull through until 24. So like 3 years of financial stress. So not only do we have nutritional stress, okay, one pillar slowly deteriorating, slowly crumbling over, you know, a period of a decade, if you will. Then in my early 20s, add in the emotional stress, so pillar 2 now begins to deteriorate, crumble, weaken, etc., etc. And yeah, I was 24 years old, and I was at work. I was excavating at the time, and I passed out because I had so much abdominal pain. So went to the hospital, emergency room. They didn't know what was wrong with me, and then had a colonoscopy. Doctors, yep, you've got full-on 100% Crohn's disease. This is a life changer. You know, sorry. Basically, you're gonna have to take pills and medications and drugs for the rest of your life. And I was like, damn, that sucks, because that's just not me. That's not what I like to do. I've never been that way. And so, so I left here's the thing too. So I've been bodybuilding, and I started bodybuilding and did my first show when I was 20 years old, 10 years ago now. And I was always lifting and studying nutrition and studying, you know, bodybuilding and all of that culture. So I knew a lot about nutrition at that point, especially compared to most people. And the doctor, she said that it was very interesting, struck me just extremely, threw the whole thing off for me. She goes, you're going to have to watch how much carbohydrates, protein, and fats you eat. Okay, so if you know anything about nutrition, those are the only in the 3 big macronutrients that comprise our whole food system. Now there's certain different types of, you know, proteins and different types of carbohydrates and different types of fats, but there's only fat, protein, and carbohydrates, and that's it. And she said I had to like watch and not eat those 3 basically. And I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. What am I going to eat? Because I like to eat. Like, it's fun. I love food. I think it's great. And so that just struck me weird. So I left that day, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to figure this out on my own. I'm going to wean myself off the medication. I'm going to take the medication because it does relieve the pain, and you know, it helps. So that's what I did. It took me about a year to really wean myself off of the medications. A year and a half I was completely off. 2 years I started to really increase my health, and how I did that, and this is where I think what you can do on your own, is I started testing what foods worked for me and didn't work for me. So what I would do is I would eliminate processed carbohydrates for an entire couple weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks. Then one day, like on a Saturday, I would go eat an entire pizza, have a bunch of bread, just eat a ton of crap. And that made me feel like crap the next day and for a couple days after that. So I realized, I'm like, okay, these foods, and through all this time, I'm, you know, digging deeper in nutrition, watching other documentaries, you know, just continuing my own education on nutrition, health, healing, and food, okay, and the power of food. So I did this, and I basically found, and I tested alcohols too. I would test beer, I would test wine, and I would test liquor. And so I tested those, and basically what I found at the early stages of it, the higher and the more processed the food was, except for vegetables. I had a difficult time at first introducing vegetables, or, you know, continuing to eat vegetables, because they are so fibrous, and so, you know, there's a lot of fiber in there, and that fiber going through an inflamed, irritated intestine or stomach or wherever, you know, the particular problem is that can cause some frustrations in there. So I had a little bit of struggle with vegetables, but ultimately got myself off the medication. It was really in about 2 years, and then it was in, I think, about 2011, I watched Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. It's a documentary on juicing, and I started juicing. It inspired me to go. I bought a juicer that day, started juicing, and then I literally would juice like damn near a whole gallon of vegetable juice every day. It wasn't all I ate. I still had my whey protein shakes and lots of nut butters, but I had a very clean and healthy nutrition. And upon that, the next like year and a half to 2 years, my health just skyrocketed. I became actually more lean, more fit, more healthy than I had when I was dieting and doing nutrition for the bodybuilding shows. And I also think that the bodybuilding shows, that particular nutrition program that I was on, that did add to the stress on my body overall. So we hit a little bit more stress there. That was a stressful situation. But the point is, with juicing and just eating very clean, I loved it. I had no cravings for sweets. I had no cravings for cookies. I had zero cravings for anything except for vegetable juice, healthy nut butters, good clean organic steak, or organic, basically anything organic, lots of vegetables. And that really just helped me pull through and, you know, heal myself. And I think that it definitely took time for my intestinal tract to heal and regrow. I believe that you can heal, you can regrow. Our cells, our entire bodies reproduce the whole cellular structure in at least 7 years, or 7 years or shorter. I believe that. I just read a book the other day, and it said that we actually reproduce, like our liver and a bunch of our organs, the entire cellular structure of certain organs in our body reproduce in a matter of a couple weeks to a couple months. So we're constantly replacing cells, we're constantly rejuvenating our body, so long that you're providing your body with adequate nutrients, quality food. Okay, I mean, if you look at go in the supermarket and look down all the aisles, I guarantee you, if you were to really you'd probably find that 90%, 97% of all the food in all of the aisles, like in the center of the store, not the vegetable section or, you know, the outer perimeters of the store, but all the food, it's all processed. So you're looking at like carbohydrates turn into sugar, and typically processed carbohydrates are what you find in all types of boxed food. And especially now when you're looking at processed carbohydrates, you're looking at like GMO corn, GMO wheat. And I have a family of farmers, and one of my cousins, she's pro GMO. So there's kind of a good side to it, because they're trying to maximize the profit and the revenue of the farming industry, which I can see is important. However, it's really hurting our health of the human population, especially in America, because you know, our bodies are built and designed from a platform that was made to consume organic raw food, you know. And now we're synthetically modifying food, and our bodies don't really know what to do with the food. They're not set up to consume or to digest that and process that in our bodies. So I really don't think that the whole processing and the GMO and you know, all the modified stuff is really helping us at all. I think it's really truly hurting us. And overall, I urge you and offer this video, start doing your own homework, start doing your own research, start taking your own power back within you to, you know what, I'm not going to accept the fact or accept the statement any longer that I'm going to continue to have this disease. I don't care if it's going to take me 2 months, I don't care if it's going to take me 2 years, I'm going to get healthy. What if you can use that as a springboard to achieving the health that you want? Because I know that once you start achieving your health, and I speak from true experience in this, once you get better health, other things in your life start to fall in place. You have better relationships, you have better finances, you have better opportunities, you feel better, you sleep better, you have better, greater sex, it's just a whirlwind of openings that happen when you start feeding yourself quality nutrition. So that's my story. I hope it inspires you guys. And I've been back, I've had a couple physicals just for standard checkups, nothing major. All my blood work comes back completely fine. I've not been to the hospital for anything. I eat what I want. I drink what I want. I drink at least a gallon of water every day. It's just natural to me. I crave things like avocados, nut butters, good clean organic steak, vegetables. That's all I crave. It was just the holidays. I had one cookie, I think. It was organic, sugar-free, gluten-free, the whole thing. And I had one little tiny piece of pumpkin pie, just whatever, just to try it. But I don't crave that stuff anymore. I just don't, because I know from the past, and even occasionally, maybe once a year, I'll have like a bunch of pizza, or I'll have like some ice cream. it just makes me feel like shit, so I don't eat it. And developing a better relationship with food, developing a better relationship with yourself and your body, understanding really what serves you better in that. So that's my story on Crohn's. Go out there. If you have any questions, hit me up on YouTube, Facebook, wherever. Be more than happy to help you out in your journey. You guys rock. See ya. Bye.